A girl in high heels is sprinting down an empty street like a maniac, constantly looking back. But there is literally nothing there. The next morning, her dead body is found on a beach, twisted like a broken doll. I am telling you, this is the most messed up curse I have ever seen in my entire life. Let me introduce you to Jay. She was just a normal girl, relaxing in her backyard pool, floating under the bright sun. Everything seemed perfect, but things were about to change. She went on a date with a guy named Hugh, to a classic movie theater, playing a harmless game of spotting people. Suddenly, Hugh panicked. He pointed at a girl in a yellow dress, but Jay could not see anyone there. Hugh freaked out and dragged her out. Later that night, they drove to a deserted spot, making out in the back seat of his car. Jay felt romantic, looking at the dark trees outside. Then Hugh suddenly ambushed her. He covered her face with a chemical cloth. She struggled desperately, but slowly lost consciousness. When Jay woke up, she found herself tied to a wheelchair, sitting in the middle of a huge abandoned building. Hugh walked out of the darkness. He told her a terrifying truth. He had passed a curse to her, through what they just did in the car. Now, something is going to follow her. It can look like anyone, a stranger or someone she loves, and it never stops walking towards her. If it catches her, it will kill her. To prove his point, he showed her a naked woman walking slowly towards them. Jay was completely traumatized. Hugh dumped her in front of her house and drove away fast. Her friends rushed out to help. The police came, but they could not find Hugh anywhere. He had used a fake name. Jay was left paranoid and terrified. She went back to college, sitting in her literature class. She looked out the window and saw an old woman in a white nightgown, walking straight towards the building. Her eyes were dead. Her steps were stiff. Jay panicked and packed her bag. She ran down the long brick hallway. She looked back. The old woman was already inside. Jay rushed to her car and sped away. She told her friends about it, but nobody believed her. Her friend Paul offered to stay over and watch the house. That night, Paul sat on the couch watching old movies. Jay could not sleep. She came out with a blanket. They sat together and talked about their childhood. Everything felt safe for a moment. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered the kitchen window. Paul went to check. He found nobody there. He ran upstairs to wake her sister, leaving Jay alone in the dark living room. She slowly walked towards the hallway. A terrifying heartbeat sound started pulsing. She stared into the dark dining room, and there it was, a half-naked woman with a twisted face, urine and blood dripping down her legs, stepping forward with dead eyes. Jay screamed at the top of her lungs. She ran upstairs like crazy, locked herself in the bedroom, crying and begging for help. Her friends rushed to the door, but she was too scared to open it. Finally, Paul forced it open. They tried to calm her down, but then the door handle started turning slowly. It was Yara, but right behind Yara in the dark hallway was a tall, creepy man in his underwear. Jay smashed the window and jumped out. She grabbed a bike and rode into the night, ending up at a deserted playground, sitting alone on a swing. The metal chains creaked in the cold wind. She felt totally hopeless. Her friends finally found her. She hugged them tightly. But then she looked up. A blurry figure was walking towards them under the streetlights. They all saw it this time. They knew she was not crazy. They decided to hunt down Hugh. They drove to an abandoned neighborhood, broke into a creepy ruined house. Walking through the dusty rooms, they found his real name hidden in an old magazine. His name was Jeff. They tracked him to his parents' house. He confessed everything. He said he got the curse from a random girl at a bar, and he passed it to Jay to save himself. He told them the only way out is to pass it on, and hope the next person passes it on too. Because if the monster kills the person behind you, it comes right back to you. Greg decided to step up. He didn't fully believe in the monster, but he wanted to protect Jay. They slept together, and the curse shifted to Greg. For a few days, it seemed fine. Greg saw nothing. He thought they were safe. But one night, a tall man in pajamas broke into Greg's house. Jay saw it from her window across the street. She ran over to warn him, banging on the doors and screaming, but it was too late. The monster took the form of Greg's mother. It barged into his room and violently murdered him. His body was bent in impossible angles. The curse was back on Jay. Jay drove away in tears. She went to the beach, hoping the water would stop it, but the monster caught up, pulling her friend's hair and tossing people around. They barricaded themselves in a shed, but the monster started smashing the heavy door, punching a hole right through the solid wood. Looking at them with dead eyes, they barely escaped in their car. Paul decided enough was enough. They set up a trap at the indoor swimming pool, surrounding the water with heavy electrical appliances. TVs, lamps, typewriters, all plugged in. The plan was to let the monster step in the water, and electrocute it. Jay acted as the bait. She swam to the center of the pool, waiting in the deadly silence. Then she saw it. The monster started throwing the appliances at her instead. It was smart. It grabbed her underwater, pulling her down to the tiles. Paul panicked and fired his gun into the water, shooting blindly. He hit the monster in the head. Blood exploded in the blue pool, a massive cloud of red turning the water dark. They pulled Jay out just in time. Did they kill it? No one knows. In the end, Jay and Paul held hands walking down the street. But far behind them in the background, a blurry figure was still following. It never stops.